Have we burdened our partners with expectations once met by an entire village? Is loneliness a symptom of our hyper-connected world? What if your greatest sexual turn-on is another's greatest disgust? We've placed a heavy burden on romantic love. We expect one person to fulfill roles once held by many. In traditional societies, religion and community provide structure. They dictate beliefs and actions, easing the complexities of relationships. Duty and obligation take precedence over individual desires. But in the West, many traditional structures have disappeared, social hierarchies have weakened, and community support is often lacking. This leaves relationships vulnerable, forcing couples to negotiate everything. We crave intimacy and connection. We desire to be seen, understood, respected, and validated. We yearn to transcend existential loneliness, but we often lack the tools to achieve these lofty goals. Community plays a vital role. A couple exists within an ecosystem, relying on support from friends, family, and other trusted individuals. This network lightens the burden on the partnership, offering diverse perspectives and understanding. Imagine a woman confiding in her mother, sister, and friends before approaching her partner. By the time she speaks with him, she's processed her emotions and sought advice, lightening the load on the relationship. Relationships thrive when treated with care, not like a cactus. We often bring our best selves to work and other areas of life, only to let our efforts wane when we come home. This can lead to disconnection and a decline in intimacy. The concept of the soulmate, the one and only, permeates our society. We seek wholeness, transcendence, belonging, meaning, and ecstasy in our relationships, the very things we once sought in the divine. Eroticism transforms sexuality through imagination. It adds meaning to the act, exploring fantasies, fears, inhibitions, and longings. It allows us to play, to explore different roles and desires. Imagine a child pretending to be a policeman, fully immersing themselves in the role. Similarly, eroticism allows us to safely explore our deepest emotions and desires. Sometimes, we find ourselves drawn to what disgusts others. This underscores the fascinating complexity of the erotic mind, which uses imagination to address our fears and wounds. When a person has experienced sexual wounds, healing begins with reclaiming control. This isn't just about saying no, but about having the freedom to say yes to pleasure and connection. Imagine a survivor slowly granting themselves permission to enjoy intimacy, knowing they have the power to stop, breathe, and communicate their needs. This act reclaims what was stolen and allows for true healing. Connection is also crucial. During intimacy, one must remain present, knowing they are worthy and deserving of pleasure. Dissociation hinders the healing process, preventing true connection. And finally, pleasure. A survivor reclaims control and connection. Pleasure becomes the ultimate act of vengeance. Pleasure filled with imagination, curiosity, and playfulness. The biggest fallacy about sex is treating it as something to do rather than an experience to embrace. It's not about performance or outcome, but about embarking on a journey, connecting with different parts of ourselves, and exploring our deepest desires. What if our partners are hesitant to explore deeper intimacy? It begins with a gentle conversation, guided by questions about their sexual past, fears, and desires. This encourages openness and vulnerability. Imagine asking, "What's the biggest myth about sex you grew up with?" Or, "What's something that's changed for you about your sexuality?" These prompts encourage thoughtful reflection and shared exploration. When discussing sexual history, sensitivity is paramount. Respect boundaries and be mindful of potential triggers. If a partner is uncomfortable, honor their feelings and find alternative ways to connect. Monogamy has evolved. The idea of one person for life is often replaced by one person at a time. We've had multiple partners. This requires honest communication and a willingness to address insecurities. Ask, "What threatens you about knowing I've been with others?" This invites open discussion about fears of replaceability and the pressure to be unique. We live in a culture of individualism, but what makes people happiest is knowing they matter. They want to feel cared for, respected, and valued, even when they're not physically present. Flexibility and good laughter are also essential. We need community without rigid expectations, and the freedom to express ourselves without judgment. When attracting healthy relationships, examine your fundamental beliefs. Challenge negative assumptions that may be hindering your progress. During dates, avoid turning them into job interviews. Instead, integrate the person into your life, introducing them to your friends and observing them in different settings. Be aware of the fundamental attribution error. Remember that you and your partner are complex individuals and avoid judging each other based on limited information. In conflict, focus on what you're truly fighting for: care and closeness, respect and recognition, or power and control. Addressing these underlying needs can lead to more productive resolutions. Imagine a couple arguing about a seemingly trivial issue, like leaving a closet door open. By understanding the deeper meaning behind the argument, fears of being alone or controlled, they can address the real problem and find a solution. Examine the belief systems that shape our relationships. Are we holding on to stories that no longer serve us? Are we sabotaging our chances of happiness with negative assumptions? The greatest breakthroughs come when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable and receptive to love. It's about reprogramming old patterns, creating new meanings, and embracing the love we deserve. By learning to regulate our nervous system, create new meanings, and find peace within ourselves, we can break free from the past and embrace a future filled with love and connection. The pull in a relationship often lies between the fear of losing the other and the fear of losing oneself. It's about finding balance between connection and autonomy. What makes each of us unbearable? It's a valuable question to ask ourselves and our partners, fostering self-awareness and growth. When seeking aliveness, look beyond the sexual realm. Embrace the power of imagination, creativity, and dreams. Pursue passions, serve others, and inspire those around us. Love is not about evaluating each other as products. It's about embracing the unique qualities that make us human and connecting on a deeper level. Stop constantly looking at people as a product where you evaluate them and you evaluate yourself. In a market economy, everything has become a product, including ourselves. Love seems to have become the moment that the evaluation of the product stops. The capacity to connect meaningfully with others is what truly enriches our lives. Cultivating and nurturing these connections may very well be one of the greatest contributions we can offer, both to ourselves and to the world around us.